Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Yarn Chats. My name is Nicole and I am the brains and the beauty behind Yarncraft by Nicole. Wanted to start today with this beautiful featured make. You've seen it a couple of times in progress stages here on this podcast, but the pattern for this, the Certainly Cypress Tee by Haley Herman, drops tomorrow. So I wanted to show it off and show you how cute it is. It is fantastic. I obviously did mine in two different colorways of yarn. So I've got this really pretty blue with a little bit of orange and white that I got from Aquarius Make, and then I paired it with this colorway called Little Crab from Wonderland Yarns. So I think it's just really summery and really cute. I love the way that the color changes right here. It's very flattering. And if you want to see more pictures of it, go check out my Instagram because I just posted some pictures of this today for Yarn Love. So this is my featured make and I absolutely love it. I've worn it a couple of times now and I've gotten compliments on it every time. A lot of people did theirs in one solid color or maybe like a variegated color, and they are all stunning. So if you haven't already, go check out the Certainly Cypress Tee on Instagram by Haley Herman. She's Haley Handcrafted on Instagram, and you can see all of the beautiful versions of this top. But it releases tomorrow, which is why I wanted to show you today. Now, last week, I told you I would have lots of whips and finished objects to show you because I was about to go on a beach trip, and I was going to have a lot of time to chill and work on stuff, and that is half right. I actually tested for COVID right before, like the day before, 24 hours before I was going to get on the flight, and tested positive for COVID. So I did not go on the beach trip. That actually ended up falling apart for weather and other reasons too. But me testing positive kind of put the last nail in the coffin on that trip. So having said that, I have had even more time at home by myself while I have been quarantining to work on a lot of projects. I had a super mild case. Honestly, my husband and I both thought we had allergies and we're testing as a precaution. And it's a good thing that we did because that just kept everybody safer. And thankfully he's working remotely, so like didn't throw off any of that. Was honestly as good as it could have been that situation. So anyway, but I have a lot of things to show you. So I think the first thing I'll show you is the only finished object. So I showed you this one last week when it was just a little baby shawl. Look how pretty it is. I used my pattern, Love of Linen Shawl, and the pattern was written using something that was qualified as a fingering weight, but honestly worked up more like a sport. It had a 390 yards per 100 gram hank, and usually fingering weight is closer to like 450 yards, 430 yards. So when I was crocheting this up, I had gotten to about probably right here when the pattern itself ended. So if I had stopped there, it would have been a really small shawl and I still had lots of yardage left. So I just kept repeating the pattern. This pattern, you do 2 fewer rows of the linen stitch before you add in the double crochet rows. So then when I got to the end, I just did a whole bunch of double crochet rows with 1 row of linen stitch in between. Anyway, came out beautifully. This is it blocked and I love the size bit. But because this worked up a little bit differently than I thought it would, it got me thinking about making another single skein fingering weight shawl. And that is something that I have started working on yet. I won't show it to you this week because right now it's like just about this long. But it'll have a lot of openness in the stitches towards the end, as well as some crisscross stitches, but it'll start with that linen stitch base because it's just an easy way to set up your increases. Anyway, I wanted to show you this. This is actually going to be a gift, so I will put it away in our gift section in our house, but I really like the way it came out. And again, it was just a 1 skein and it's still a good size, lightweight shawl. I sent a picture of this to my best friend. She's like, man, I really wish I wore scarves. I'm like, well, you should start, because then I will make you all of them. But that came out really pretty and was a springboard to another idea. I've actually got the one I'm working on now, and then there's another one that I want to make that's a shawl that are stuck in my brain right now. So you'll probably see a couple of other shawl patterns from me this year, which is exciting because this is the first year I've written a shawl pattern, and now you might get 3. Okay, I'll show you the cardigan next. So you have seen this. This got a lot of work done over the weekend because I got to the sleeve and just didn't want to stop. In fact, I think the last time I showed you this, I had just started on the sleeves, but I got into a good rhythm and it has gotten major work done. So I've completely finished one sleeve, and then I also just went ahead and did this middle part. And this is a cardigan that's going to be for my best friend. It's using cot lin. In fact, I can show you what that looks like. It's using cot lin yarn from We Crochet, and it is working out beautifully. However, I was short on my yardage for this, so I had to order more, which is why this is not done yet, because otherwise I probably would have just knocked it out. But the other sleeve will look like this one, obviously, and then it'll have 2 pockets in the front, and then this one will be done, and I'll start on my second one for my sister, which I think y'all will really like the color of that one too. But I wanted to start with this one because of the two-tone nature of it, to see if I was going to be short any on the yardage, and I'm glad I did. But it is super cozy. I love it. It's just so happy and fun, and it has a good drape to it. Like, I would use this yarn 100% again to make a cardigan for myself, to just throw on anything and everything. And because it's a cotton and linen blend, it's a lot easier to care for than a wool or a hand-dyed wool or anything like that. My only complaint about this yarn is that it has tiny little skeins, tiny little, I think they're 50 gram. Yeah, 50 gram hanks that have, or 50 gram skeins that have 123 yards. And it just means that there's a lot of adding in new yarn when you do a big project like this. It'd be great for color work. And I definitely understand the marketing for it. I just wish it came in a bigger skein. But Pebbled, and this is the Pebbled Path Cardigan. Same designer that made this, Haley Herman. She's great. Love her. And I'm really excited about this one. I think it'll be fun for my friend to wear. My bestie. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you, we'll alternate. So this one was teeny when you saw it last time. It's still not very big, but this is my project that I'm doing for the Yarn Love Challenge. Yeah, how pretty it is. It's just a riot of color holding it up next to what I'm wearing currently. This is the Garden Party Shawl from TL Yarncrafts. She is doing a Yarn Love challenge. If you are on Instagram, follow the hashtag YarnLove2022 and you'll see everybody that's participating. And it's just a fun set of prompts in June to kind of reinvigorate your Crojo and give you something fun to look forward to, and more inspiration, and finding new people, which is always wonderful, especially if you don't have very many people, like don't have very many friends that do crochet or knit or craft in any way. It's a good way to find those people online. So I'm working on the Garden Party Shawl, and it's working out really well. It's kind of a good in-between project. As you can see, I've got a lot of projects going on, and it's a good one to just kind of pick up, put down whenever. It's not very challenging in the best way. Like, it's a nice, simple pattern, and the colors are so much fun to work with. Yeah, you just want to work with it. I'm using Malabrigo, which is the really hot pink, and then Stitch Together Studio, which is the variegated. Those are the 2 yarns that I'm using in that. I love it. It's great. And it will get bigger and bigger through June. I'll finish it by the end of June. But it's a fun one to work on. All right, now we will we'll go on to the Timberwood Tank. Well, it's gotten a lot of work too since the last time you saw it. Let me show you. It's starting to actually look like a tank. Hey, how about that? I feel a little bad about this project. I like the way that it's working up. I finally got into a place where like I understand it, I get it. I did this whole side is done. I'm now working on this side, and then I'll do the back, then it'll be done, it'll be great. I feel a little bit bad about this project, not because it doesn't look good, because it looks great, but I am modifying it a lot. I'm modifying it because I'm using a bigger size hook, so some of the like stitch rows or stitch counts would have just been crazy big doing the size that I'm doing, and maybe I should have gone down a size, but I didn't. So a lot of what I'm doing is kind of cropping it in some ways, so it's not as long. Hold it up. It's not as long as if you follow Timberwood Tank, if you've seen other people's, as other people's would be. However, one, I think cropped tops usually are more flattering on me. And two, I imagine that I'll probably be wearing this over button-up shirts or with like higher waisted skirts. So it fits that kind of vibe anyway. So I'm doing math to figure out, to make sure that everything is still hitting the same way it's supposed to be. But I will say that I've finally gotten into a good place with this. And once the top is done, the back is just one big piece. So it'll be a little bit tedious going back and forth with it, but it won't be complicated. So this will probably get finished in the next couple weeks. And this one is just for me. I thought the pattern was very cute. I thought it was an interesting way to construct it, and I wanted to give it a try, and I'm really glad I did. This type of pattern that's very exact, like you have this many rows and then you do this, is not generally my preferred type of pattern. I'm usually a little bit more, I usually lean towards patterns that are a little bit more customizable, which makes sense why, even though this one isn't super customizable, I have customized it anyway. But I am really enjoying it. It's been a nice challenge, and it's given me a chance to practice stitches that I didn't know before, hadn't tried before. The one on the side is the yarn over slip stitch in the back loop. I think that's what it's called. It's got a long name. However, I think they also call it like a slip stitch half double crochet. It was a little tricky for me to get into the swing of it, but once I did, like, I really like the drape of it. Like, I could make a sweater out of a nice chunky yarn that was oversized and was just like some panels thrown together and some sleeves, and I think it would be really cozy and comfy. So I will remember this stitch. And that's one of the things that I really like about picking a pattern that is a little bit out of my comfort zone, is that I learned so much along the way, and I learned so many new types of stitches, as well as construction methods, how to put something together, which I enjoy. So this one has been a slower project, but like I said, it's just for me. I'm doing it because I wanna, and I'm excited for how it will look. And also, I mean, we talked about how good this would look on. It's gonna look so good on. And this colorway is called Marmalade. Now, I will warn you, I like this yarn. I would use this yarn again for sure. It's their Lions brand 100% superwash merino. It's a DK weight. I would 100% use this again, but it does split. So make sure that when you are picking the project, it works really well for this, because these stitches are not particularly complex. But just keep that in mind if you wanted to use this for a project, that you use something that has slightly simpler stitches, because it does split a little bit. And that's really my only issue with it. A lot of the superwash merinos that I've used have been, I think it hasn't had as many plies as this one has. I think this one is a, let's see if I can find it on here. Nope, I can't. And I'll just show you a little bit. It's got a bunch of different plies twisted together. Yeah, maybe 8. And I think that's part of the issue is that once it's not super tight, that it's easy to get it to split because there just are so many plies. And a lot of the super washes that I've used have been maybe 2 or 3 plies. So that's just something a little different. If you are interested in this yarn, again, I would use it again. Just note that it is a little splitty. Okay, guys. So this next project I hadn't even started when I talked to you last week, and I will finish it today. It was just that much fun, and it was that hard to put down. And I love this yarn. I'm gonna tell you all about this yarn. And this is my Garder Trellis Cardigan, also from Haley Herman. There's a bit of a theme in this episode. And holy moly, it is pretty. Let me just show it to you in its best possible angles. Oh. This is like a little bit of an extended cardigan. I think it hits right at my hips, and I absolutely love it. I used 3 different colorways. One was called Rainbow, one was called Sunset, and one was called Sunshine. And they are all by Big Twist. Hold it back so you can see it, because always the camera is crazy. It is a 50% cotton, 50% acrylic blend, and oh my gosh, I love this yarn. I will use this yarn over and over and over again. And they had it in a lot of different colors. They had some that were just shades of blue, shades of lavender. There might have been a pink and a green. But what I did for this one is I started with the most colors on the bottom and then faded into the sunset, which is like oranges and reds. And then at the top faded from the sunset to the sunshine, which is the yellow and the gray. And I absolutely love it. Part of the fun for me was trying to go from more saturated to less. Things in my brain never quite look like they do in real life. And this one, I definitely thought it would look a little different with that color gradient, but I absolutely love it. Like, this is giving me high school art teacher vibes, and just, I love it. It has a really nice drape. This hasn't been blocked. It probably won't need to. I might just do like a little steam block so that the fibers just say that they like each other in the shape that they're in. But I love it. And I just want to show you this little sleeve detail. It's got this picot edge. It's a little bit 3D, and the bottom has the same. So you can see. And it's just darling. It's the same type of stitch pattern as her Garder Trellis top, which I did last year. And the pattern calls for fingering weight. This yarn is more of a sport. In fact, it's labeled as a sport. And so the stitch pattern on this is a little bit more defined, I guess. It's a little bit bigger than it would be in a true fingering weight. But I absolutely love it in this weight. And I'm really glad that she let me kind of break the mold on that a little bit and go for a different weight, because I love my the fingering weight Garder Trellis top that I did for her last year. And the detail on it is really sweet and really feminine, but it's fun to see it a little bit bigger and just more of a statement. And y'all know I like a statement. So I am really, really excited about this. I've just got a little bit on the sleeve to finish, and then this will be done. And I have already planned the outfit that this will be showcased on. So if you want to see this, make sure that you are following me on Instagram, because that's where all my beautiful pictures are of all the beautiful things that I make. So yeah, all right, that was whips, finished objects. We talked about the featured make. It is now time for yarn love. And while I have a lot of yarn that will be coming to me in the mail this week, we've just got one that I'm going to show you, and that is another Lion brand yarn, Coboo. And I'm going to hold it this way so you can actually read the label with the bright sun coming in, and that's Coboo yarn. It is a cotton and bamboo. I'm trying to make sure that I'm telling you. Yeah, so 51% cotton, 49% rayon from bamboo, hence the name Coboo, cotton bamboo. And I'm going to be making the Very Vero V-neck from Knitting Tipsy. Her name is Chelsea on Instagram. It has been a very popular top. It is super cute. And I'm just doing it in 2 colors. It's going to have this really pretty, it's called Lichen, but it's like a Tiffany blue. I love this color. This is almost the color of my bridesmaids' dresses at my wedding, and I think it'll be really fun. And then on the ends, there's a really fun bobble stitch border on the ends of that, and so the ends will be white. My silly self, when I ordered this, I ordered 5 of the white as well as 5 of the blue, and I do not need that much white, so there will be something else that will happen that will have some white in it since I'll have so many left over. But I'm very excited about this. I have seen several people use this yarn and really like it. If you've tried Truboo, which I think is a higher percentage of bamboo from Lion Brand yarn, I've tried that and I didn't like it. It was way too shiny. And it was slippery. It wasn't fun to work with for me. Other people love it. I didn't love it. But this is, because it's got cotton in it, it's got like a smidge of shine, but it's not overwhelming. And a lot of people that I've seen on Instagram, they've used this, have really liked it. So I'm pumped about that as well. But I'm not allowed to start that project until I finish one of these, and I will finish another one today. So probably tomorrow I'll start on that one. And that's what I've been up to this week, guys. As much as I was looking forward to the beach trip, and as much as I was bummed that I couldn't go and that it ended up falling apart, I will say that I'm very thankful that the cases of COVID that my husband and I had were very mild. Like I said, we both thought we had allergies, and have been no issue, haven't impacted work or anything like that for either of us, which has been good. And I'm just what I can't let go of this week is I'm just very thankful about what I have and what I get to do, and the time that I've been given over the summer to do a little bit more on the yarn side, to explore other interests, to explore this wonderful place that we live, since we'll be moving again next year. And I'm just very grateful for having some time, and hopefully you have some time as well this next week that you can take a moment and do what makes you happy, and just revel in the gratitude of the time that we've got. And with that, guys, I'll say goodbye, and I will see you right here next week. Bye, guys.